Thank you so much for being here. You came in from Boston today, right?
I did.
Yes. Does it work?
I don't know.
Yes,
it
now it
does.
does,
Yeah, I
yes.
did. Even better now.
And before we went on stage, you talked to Sanjay. You are old friends, I think. Or you know each other a very long time.
It's a small industry. We all sort of know each other, so on personal levels and professional levels, all kind of working in the best interest of
Are you
industry as well.
competitors?
We are competitors in the market, but I think one of the things that we find is that the market. You hear a lot of the co-location facilities. They actually require us to be more standardized between us as well, because one supplier can't do it all. So to some extent, yes, we have to compete, but at the end of the day, there is the need. We're all serving the same market.
The numbers are staggering, the investments that are being made. Have you ever experienced in your career something happening like this?
Not this sustained area. I've been working for quite a long time, and of course, we talked about a bit about the internet boom, a little in the cloud boom, which maybe was overscaled, was overhyped a bit. But now this sustained growth, particularly coming out of COVID, where sort of the world understood how to operate in a digitized manner. And then with the notion of AI, again, AI actually does seem to have some very tangible benefits in terms of operational efficiencies for enterprises. That's where it comes about. We're not developing AI or things just for fun. It actually has to bring economic, societal value, and you can kind of see those dimensions happening. There's a real pull that feels real that over the next 3 to 5 years, I haven't seen something like this before. No.
It's new. So what is the future? What do you think will happen?
So I think we heard a bit about we have this supply-demand challenges. If you kind of look at the world globally, which is how Schneider tends to look at things, is that data centers are still just teetering around 2% of the total electricity consumption on the planet. But that's very different upon where you are. Mm-hmm. So if you're in Amsterdam, as we are today, it's over 30%. So there's different areas. So what's happening is you see this guided approach where the ability to supply the energy and where the demand is basically working on a market. That's why you heard the talk around Nordics. You see things going on in Southern Europe, parts of the U.S. The secondary markets are really hot right now to cop up that demand.
Yeah, but how do you cop up with that demand? I mean, if you look at the figures, Google search is estimated to consume 0.3 watt, and then if you prompt, then it would take you 2.9 watt per question.
Yeah, so look, I think that's where this is where it's a little bit dangerous to kind of extrapolate from where we are today to where things are going to be in the future. That's an actual, very factual statement today. Mm-hmm. On how a query a search that uses a query takes up more energy per query. But look, we're just in the early days today. There is so much more efficiency and effectiveness just on the IT side that's coming. Think back if we were sitting in 1999 and talking about the internet and how it would take, how am I going to provide 100 web servers for the space? That would have been 100 kilowatts of 100 servers at that point. We would have been extrapolating out these dramatic ways forward. You think in 2020 or even 2015, that same workload was consumed on 2 servers, maybe 10 kilowatts in that space. That same dramatic efficiencies on the compute side is what I think is a very positive way forward. Not to mention, at least as we heard today, is that our job is to make sure that every watt that's consumed by a data center goes into that IT load. And we're becoming very, very good at doing that. Historically, that's why the colo and self-build enterprise hyperscalers are doing very good. That's another dramatic way forward where I think we can meet these demands.
And do you have the same discussions in the US as we have heard in France, the Netherlands, Germany, about the data center and the environment, energy, the gas guzzlers that they are?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there's a few things that are going on. This is really global across the goal. Everyone is making net zero pledges. The notion that we can't PPA our way out of this in the future, we do actually start to think about not just siting data centers where there's green energy, but where there's not green energy. I mean, siting a 100 megawatt, 200 megawatt campus can become a valuable asset to allow a local utility to add more renewables by being more of a dynamic buffer. Sanjay will talk a bit about the role of energy storage in this area. That's actually how data centers can actually help be part of the solution to enable more renewables, to decarbonize the grid around them. in the future. That conversation is very heavy in the U.S. right now.
So, but are you optimistic about how that conversation will go in the future?
I'm very optimistic about this. Look, I'm a realist. My personality is something that I never kind of get too high or too low, but I do see that time and time again, given these challenges, it might take time to work out. We're probably in for a bumpy 4 years or so, but usually if you look at the ability to become much more efficient in the IT operations, efficient in infrastructure, and enabling more renewables. Remember, capacity is needed even for the electrification for electric vehicles as well. All those things are moving towards a dimension that I do believe that we'll be able to kind of meet the demands of the future.
And do you foresee a competition between the energy that is needed for the data center and public households, other industries?
Yeah, I mean that is part of what that is some of the demand. I mean, it's the notion of electrification. If you really want a sustainable planet, you do have to electrify and then use renewables. Everything's going in that direction. The good news is that means the market's going in that direction. Utility builders, transmission, generation, all those areas. I think that is converging towards a future that actually will have not just the right capacity, but also have the right mix of capacity moving forward. Not in the next I think the midterm we get some interesting challenges, but long term I'm very hopeful.
Yeah. Do you have kids?
I do. I have three grown children and 3 granddaughters.
How old are your kids?
They're 36, 34, and 30.
Maybe a bit too old, but I'm asking for this question.
Go to the grandchildren.
No, but are they making the connection between what they do on screens and the business that we are talking about, data center? Do they have the perception of what is necessary to make it all possible? It's not as direct as I would like it. It really is not. I think that there's an assumption that their digital lives is somehow in the ether somewhere. They don't always get that connection. It's becoming a bit more real because they are a little bit older. They do work one's in education, or 2 are in education, 1 is in healthcare. They do understand that the use of digital does not just happen. And so on their work experiences, I think there is a real understanding that the need to do their jobs better requires the need for more digital, and that's not free. And there's a connection happening on that side. And you are explaining it to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had fantastic conversations.
Okay. Thank you very much
All right,
for being here today.
Great,
Thank you so much.
Thanks.